Alright, so let's add some detail to this body. I'm going to right click and just edit this part in context. Now, I'm not crazy about this kind of flower planter box shape, just this kind of round rectangle shape. It just doesn't have much to look at. So let's select this back radius here and delete that and hit yes. And then I'm going to add these radii in a different way that gives some more complexity to this form, at least visual complexity. In reality, this is going to be really simple. So you see how this edge comes up here and stops? Well, sometimes it's really nice if that edge can dive around to the other side. The way we do that is a really simple trick. We'll take this fillet, put it on this back edge here. We could set that to say 40 millimeters and hit OK. And now we have an edge that wraps around and up and then dives back down again. Now it's also really common to want that to wrap again and kind of just close the loop. So we'll go to our fillet tool, hit this bottom edge, and hit OK. And now we have an edge that wraps all the way around the product in 3 directions. And if we grab, say, this edge here, we can grab this pink line, make that bigger or smaller as needed. That's looking decent. I think I'm happy with that. And so I think we're done. I'll grab my fillet tool, put a minor radius around this outside edge, minor rad as we like to call it, and I think that'll do it. Now we need a couple more details here. So let's actually grab this face, create a sketch on it, and I'm going to grab a circle and do something right about like that. We'll do features, extruded boss, go back to our perspective view. Now to zoom in on this, there's actually a really handy tool right here. It's this one, Zoom to Area, and you may notice that I have a custom keyboard shortcut for it called Alt-F. So if I hit Alt-F on my keyboard, or grab that tool up there, I can just drag right over this area and zoom right in on it really easily. Sometimes it's nice to do that instead of the middle mouse button. We'll just drag this out, something like so. That looks pretty good. I'm going to draft those edges in a little bit as they go, just because, as you can tell, I just kind of like doing that with these machine parts. Just looks kind of cool. Hit OK, and that looks good to me. I'm fine with that. I want to mirror that across to the other side. Before I do that, let's add some fillets to it. I'm going to fillet this edge. That looks good. And then fillet this bottom edge a little bit. That looks good. And we're done. So let's mirror that to the other side. We'll grab our mirror tool. We're going to mirror across the right plane of the active part. We're not mirroring across any other plane but the active part. And then under Features to Mirror, we're going to grab the Boss Extrude and the 2 fillets. Hit OK. Hopefully, we're all hunky-dory on both sides. Looks perfect. We can add our one last fillet here. Let's go to our fillet. Grab this interior edge. It'll wrap all the way around that whole deal. And there we have it. Nicely completed shape. That looks good. Now next we're going to be adding wheels, and it's going to be really helpful to us if we have somewhere for those wheels to be on the main body here. So let's actually, while we're editing this main body really quickly, let's go to the right plane of that, create a sketch, and we're just going to create 2 locations for 2 wheels. So let's go here and create, I don't know, wheel number 1 goes something like that, and wheel number 2 will go straight back and just do something like so. Now we want for these 2 to be equal sizes, right? So let's select this circle, Control click this circle, and then we'll get a constraint type called equal. If you click that, now they're going to stay the same radius no matter what. Great. Now I'll also select the midpoint of this circle, Control click the midpoint of that circle, and we'll make those horizontal. That way we know that if we move these around, they're always going to stay with a flat bottom, which we know that we obviously need for wheels to function properly. So there we go. That is probably just about what we need there, at least as a starting point. So we can go ahead and just create a really basic piece of geometry. Let's go to our features, do an extruded boss, and I'm going to offset that out a little bit. Something like that. That looks good. And we'll just come all the way out to where we're just peeking out the outside. That looks pretty good. Fine. We'll hit OK. And that will be a good starting point. At least something to grab onto when we're creating our wheels. Let's add one more piece of geometry here. Let's click this face, create a sketch on that face. I'm going to create a circle and snap it to that outside edge, right? Make that co-radial. So we have a full circle here. Do an extruded boss once again. And this time I'm going to draft it inward, something like so, just so that it dives in to our body here. Hit OK. And now we have kind of a more completed shape. I could actually do the same thing down here, but in this case, I think on this one I can cheat a little bit. And I'll just do a chamfer on this face right here. That looks perfect. Hit OK. That is totally detailed enough for our purposes. So we'll just fillet this edge, fillet this edge, and this one, so those look nice and completed. Grab these interior edges as well, just so that those look, they just look a little bit more complete. Hit OK. And we can mirror that across to the other side. Let's go to our mirror tool, grab our right plane again, and under Features to Mirror, as you guessed, let's grab those boss extrudes, these other boss extrudes, and our two chamfers. Hit OK, hope for the best, and it looks like just about did it. The only one that it looks like failed is the fillets. Now sometimes fillets fail when you mirror across. So let's edit that mirror operation and actually just remove the fillet from the mirror operation. We'll just go ahead and do only the boss extrudes and the chamfers because those worked. Hit OK. And now we can add the fillet back on the other side. So we'll go here and do fillet, this edge, that edge, this edge, and this one. Something like so. Looks good. All right. That is enough detail for that base. He's got really stubby little legs right now. Let's give this guy some wheels and therefore some dignity.